What's up, everybody? It's Chris Ortega back with another Fresh CFO Fridays. If you're actually on the live, I know last time I had a little difficulty with the live, actually the voice, and let me be honest, the stream quality was trash. We checked all that stuff out, so hopefully this is a lot better. People can hear me. If you're in the chats, if you can't hear me, just drop it in there right now. Like that would be super helpful. Hope your Fridays are going well. Man, it's been a crazy week. Can you believe that it's March 31st? Right? Like 3 months have gone by. Q1 is coming to a wrap. I know there's people like all my salespeople are probably not on this call today because they're trying to get in those closed contracts. It's crazy to think Q1 is already like over. There's been so much going on. There's been so much momentum, so much good things like good, bad, ugly, everything in between, right? It's always a great situation. Oh, if you're on YouTube, let me know in the chat if you can hear me. Just say like, "Yep, can hear you." Dalton, what's up? How's everybody? Drop in the chat too how your Friday's going. April is here. Yeah, April's here. What is it? April showers bring May flowers, right? Good. It's good everybody can hear me. Dalton, thank you for everybody for joining. I have the chat open right here. But today, in this Fresh CFO Friday, I'm really excited to talk about the 3 ways to upskill your value as a fractional CFO. I think that is so important right now, right? When you look at the fractional CFO role, right? Like when you look at even not just fractional CFO, you look at fractional roles overall. Like one of the most important things that you need to be talking about and doing is at the end of the day providing value, right? I get on a lot of different prospecting calls, a lot of different calls with fractionals from all across the world, from Australia, from Germany, from South America, from Canada, from Americas, in all different disciplines: marketing, sales, revenue, operations, finance. I think these 3 ways that you can upskill can be applicable not only for fractional CFOs, but all those other fractional positions. And I think one of the coolest things that I see right now, and like one of the market trends that I see is you have a lot of businesses. So what is like driving this value proposition for a fractional CMO, for a fractional CFO? And to me, it's basic economics, right? I'm a very like simplistic kind of person. I like to break things that are complex down to like very simple terms that I can understand. uh I should have Q in my Forrest Gump reference. I'm not a smart man, but I know what economics is. Like that's gonna be right here. Cool little video. But when you think about it, businesses, right, they have this demand for they don't have the luxury right now to actually be able to, a lot of companies are in hiring freezes. A lot of them are trying to see how Q1 goes. A lot of them are trying to see how, the next couple of quarters go. So they're a lot of organizations are being a little reluctant to invest in full-time resources. And you're seeing a lot of those things in business that people are holding off that investment level, right? But that doesn't change the business demand for the skills, passions, talents, and experiences that these business need to continue to navigate this uncertainty and challenge. So that demand for businesses around those skills, passions, talents, and experiences and that expertise, and those people that have been there, done that, and been in the trenches and like live and breathe and providing that value, that demand is here, right? But when you think about it from a supply perspective, right? You think about the number of fractional resources. The supply is down here, right? And when I was able to look at this at a high level and look at, demand being high, supply being low, everything around this, that's a premium, right? Basic economics. When demand is higher than supply, that creates a premium. All my shoe resellers, anybody that has a limited release on those things, you guys are like, yeah, Chris, don't tell everybody our business model. But that creates this premium, right? And that premium is what a lot of, my network of fractional CMOs, CROs, chief sales officers, CFOs, we're filling in that premium value to clients, right? We're helping to give them the skills, passions, talents, experience, horsepower, and capacity for them to be able to navigate uncertainty and challenge, or look at their business differently, or to transform and scale their finance organization. So I think that's one of the macro trends that a lot of conversations I have, I always point back to, and that kind of trickles down, right? And in this conversation today, I'm going to be sharing with you my top 3 ways that you can upskill your value as a fractional CFO, that I think is going to provide huge value to your organization. And it's gonna make your job more fulfilled. At least that's my perspective, and that's my team's perspective here at Fresh FP&A. So the first way to upskill and to provide that value as a fractional CFO is to have the opportunity to expand your services outside, to have that leadership in other areas of the business, right? When I look back over my finance career, right, and I look back and leading a lot of different high growth businesses in software and technology and retail and pharma, and renewable companies that and clients that we work with, right? I've always found a way that I've had at value is getting into other areas of the business to help drive strategic projects or leadership. So, for example, right, and a lot of different high growth businesses that I was a part of, like sales and marketing, right? Those are like my primary business partners. Those are like that's like my tribe of people, right? I think a lot of it had to deal with because we probably had like similar personalities that people were just like, dude, this is like the most extroverted, personality driven finance professional I've ever worked with. But working with them on looking at a go-to-market strategy, or we're crossing chasm as a business, right, where we're trying to find our ideal customer profile, we're trying to get in front of that customer, we're trying to cross the chasm of who you are, what you do, and how you can help, and being a strategic partner with that sales organization, right? Looking back over my career, those were elements where my value was increased. I wasn't just the number person, right? I wasn't just the person that's giving them the budget and cracking them on the whip to say we can't go travel or do things like that, right? So as a fractional CFO, finding those other areas that you can expand your strategic level expertise into HR, right? Like there's opportunities and clients that we work with around compensation planning, right? We look at job level setting, we look at bonus incentive and compensation packaging. We help them with their benefits, right? In terms of the negotiate what kind of benefits do they have, how do they price that stuff out, how do they find the right partners. All right, we partner inside of operations to help drive more process clarity and work with RPA initiatives. So I think that's one way that you could really upskill your value as a fractional CFO, is going into those other areas of the business and providing that complementary strategic level leadership. So that's my upskill number one. Upskill number two is providing value and connections and helping other parts of the client's business, right? So one of the great resources, and you guys probably going to hear me say this plenty of times, right? And a great mentor has told me this is your network determines your net worth, right? So your network of people that you have determines your net worth value, right? And I can't tell you how many times I'm talking to a client or a prospect or a lot of the different businesses that we helped even through the SVB Silicon Valley Bank transitions, right? Helping those clients through and just having connections, right? There's a great good friend of mine that is running a business, email marketing company. He's in the email marketing space. And he was like, Chris, man, I'm struggling with this idea of like, I'm trying to compensate and look at our people. I'm trying to plan out our HR strategy, and that's not my expertise, right? And he reached out to me, and I'm a CFO, right? I'm a fractional CFO, and he reached out to me. He's like, "Hey, Chris, do you have anybody in your network that would be a great connection that I could reach out to that could provide me some of that strategic level direction from a people and chief human resource officer perspective?" And I'm like, "Of course, I know some great people, right?" And connecting him with those great peoples and those great partners in that network that I talked about, hugely valuable, right? And I think this is another way as a fractional CFO that you can kind of upskill your value and upskill your value proposition, is that you have solutions and resources and contacts and connections that can help a CEO, a founder to solve a business problem, right? Like you're able to say, "Hey, I know you're dealing with having a support system that isn't having really good SLAs, right? And you need to it'd be great for you to have a resource to kind of help you look at your SLA, look at your customer service organization, really put some strategic level frameworks around that organization. Well, I know a great colleague of mine that I can introduce you to, right? Like, as you're able to expand your value outside of just the debits and credits, the accounting, the treasury, the FP&A, but to provide those resources to help solve a pain inside the business, and you're making that connection, dude, your value increases significantly, right? Because now you're just not just the finance person that solves finance problems. You're the strategic leader to help solve business problems. That's a huge level up in value, right? That's huge. Like, there are still people that I've worked with throughout my professional career. There's still my network of people that I reach out to, and I'm like, "Hey, man, I got this great. I had this great conversation. I think they may be in need of, more go-to-market strategies, or they may need more marketing development from a strategic perspective, or they need to really get a rhythm and recipe down for their sales organization. And I think you can come in and provide a lot of value." So as you're bringing in relationships and you're complementing your value with other complementary other areas, and you're that central place of like, "Hey, man, I had this problem. I heard it. I found you a great resource. I built a great connection. They solved that business pain." That is huge opportunity to upskill your value as a fractional CFO. And then the third piece of it is one of the areas to upskill is, you know, providing that strategic level diligence inside the finance organization, right? So as I was leading, to me, I'm getting back to my simplistic kind of mindset. And if you guys can't tell, like, I'm a very linear thinker. To me, one thing that you want to be able to set as that strategic finance executive that is helping drive that organization is, it's a very simple framework, right? Vision is you drive the vision, you drive the strategy, you drive the tactics, you drive the metrics, and you drive the milestones, right? Vision, strategy, tactics, metrics, milestones, right? The vision is saying, here's where we're going, right? Here's where we're going as a finance organization. Here's where we're going as a business. That to me is always, that vision level casting, right? And that answers that question, where are we going? Once you get into the strategies, right? That's that question that looks at it to say, why are we going here, right? Like, why is this important for us to go here, right? That's the strategy side. That's the business question and answers. Then once you get into the tactics, that's like, okay, how are we going to do that, right? How are we going to do that? What are the things, like, what are the metrics we're going to measure? Like, how are we going to make that happen? And then the metrics you move into is, what are you going to measure, right? What are you going to measure? And then the last step of it is those milestones. When, right? So strategy, the vision aligns to where we're going. The strategies answer the question of why. The tactics is the how. The metrics are the what, and the milestones are the when. Right? Not like the win. Yeah, you're gonna win off of it if you follow that. If you follow that framework, right? But it's the win. And those are the business questions you're helping to answer, right? And to me, like, you'll sit, I sit on prospecting calls, and even with our clients, even as we get outside of the finance organization, right? It's that framework, right? And that's what they're looking for, right? They're looking for that strategic level leadership that you can break it down from, like, here's a vision that we have. So as an example, right? Where we want to go is, like, we want to increase our cash runway from 18 to 24 months, right? That's the vision that you want to go. What are the strategies you're going to do around that, right? So, like, some of the strategies we're going to have is, we're going to look at customer contracts. We're going to look at, we want to look at our customer agreements. We want to level some of our vendor agreements. What are some of the tactics you're going to do? Okay, we're going to pull our top 10 contracts. We're going to pull our top 10 customer contracts, our top 10 vendor contracts. That gets into the tactics, right? Then when you get into the metrics, you want to measure success on that, right? Like, how are you able to increase that cash runway, right? Like, that's the metric that you're looking at, is that cash runway increasing. So that's a metric that you're going to look at. And then the milestone is like, what do you want to achieve in the next 30, 60, 96 months, right? So you can really break that down from, like, we need to increase our cash runway from 18 to 24 months. You can walk through that fact pattern, right? And that's really the value to the business, right? Like, providing that level of strategic leadership and a framework with your client, right? And I would caveat to say, like, you want to start at that element of it. Now, there are some people that, they start with the accounting, and I don't discredit accounting. You have to have, I was on a call, prospecting call today, and I could just tell I'm hearing the pain from the CEO. They're a high growth business. They're going through these changes, and you could tell the CEO, right, really wanted to have this conversation about strategic. Like, I want to get to this point where I'm able to look at this and we're answering these questions. But the other person on the call was their external accounting partner that they had, right? And you can tell, I could tell immediately from the call that there's a misalignment. Like, the CEO he's setting a vision, and he's a visionary CEO. He's setting a direction. He wants to see all these different pieces of it. But I could tell from listening from the external accountant on the call and the partner that is leading tactical operations that it's like, hey man, this is really the core issue, right? And being able to diagnose, and you can still do that same vision, strategy, tactics, metric, milestone framework around development. And I was on the call with the CEO, and I said, look, I hear you. I understand that is ultimately like a destination, but there's no way as a business, as a strategic level, you got to make sure your accounting operations are foundational, right? And I said, here's where we need to start, right? We need to start, and the most important urgent aspect of it is making sure that your accounting team, hey, has the capacity, has the ability, and has the foundation built before you even get to a point of having all the visionary strategic things that you need, right? And I was able to it was funny because on the call you're able to get the CEO to come down, and then you're able to level up the controller to meet right in the middle, right? So it's like practical application of using that framework, right? And you're looking at it from different aspects. And you could take that same framework and establish it in other areas of the business, right? You can work with sales, you can work with marketing, you can work with operations, you can work with other elements of the business and apply that same framework. So to me, like, getting back to like my simplistic kind of mindset, right? Uh that's always one thing that I kind of stress out and mention. So yeah, to me, like, in summary, those are the top three things I think you can upskill yourself as a fractional CFO. The first one, having an opportunity to expand your strategic leadership outside the finance organization, right? Get outside of the finance organization. Go build those relationships with the marketing, the sales, the operation. That's what we do with our clients at Fresh FP&A, right? Like, that's one of the first things I have myself and my team. We always share in that first prospecting calls. Like, we're not going to be your typical accountant that you worked with, right? We're going to make a guarantee to you that we're going to be the best strategic finance person that you've ever worked with, right? Like, I literally, myself, my team, we make that fresh FP&A guarantee to the clients that we work with, right? And we want to live by that and see it. And I think the second piece of it, of upskilling your value as a fractional CFO, providing that value, that connection, and that resources to help other parts of your client's business, right? So that could be a connection that you have with a great benefits provider. That could be a great relationship you have with a technology provider. You're able to have your network determine your net worth in that relationship, and you're able to provide complementary services outside of the finance organization that provide value back to that business. And then the third one is obviously that vision, strategy, tactics, metric, and milestone framework to strategically lead the finance organization, right? That's how you transform. That's how you scale a finance organization. That's how you're able to take it from vision all the way down to milestones that you want to measure success inside the finance organization and outside the finance organization as well. So um, that is my insights around how to upskill yourself as a fractional CFO. Hope you enjoyed this LinkedIn Live. I'm so glad, and thanks. Shout out to my team. We were able to get this one correct. Like, the video quality, I can't tell you how many tests I've done through this and how many recordings I've been able to go through to make sure we got it right this time. So shout out to my team for making sure that's successful. If you've enjoyed this conversation, make sure to follow us all over LinkedIn. We're on LinkedIn, just Fresh FP&A, Fresh FPA, all over LinkedIn. Make sure, if you're looking at this from YouTube, make sure to smash that subscribe button so that way you don't miss any future CFO Fresh CFO Fridays. And hope you enjoy your Friday. And as I always end, keep pushing, never settle, and the best is yet to come. Let's get it. Thank you everybody for your time. Cool. So yeah, thank you so much for everybody. Hope you have a great Friday. Enjoy your weekend. And yeah, next time we talk, we're going to be in Q2. Thank you so much, everybody.